The fighting arena on Station Nexus 7 smelled like sweat, blood, and bad decisions. Rows of metal seats rose in tiers around the circular combat floor, packed with spectators from 40 different species. They had come to watch the qualifying rounds for the Galactic Combat Championships, the most brutal sporting event in known space. Winners earned glory, credits, and the respect of entire civilizations. Losers went home in medical pods if they were lucky. Jenna Cross stood in the preparation room, wrapping her hands with synthetic fight tape. She was 24 years old, stood 5 feet 6 inches tall, and weighed 130 pounds soaking wet. Her auburn hair was braided tight against her scalp. Her grey eyes held the kind of calm that came from years of training. She wore a simple black compression suit that allowed full range of movement. No armor, no enhancements, just her and whatever skills she had managed to develop in her short human life. The door hissed open behind her. Marcus Webb, her trainer and the closest thing she had to family, stepped inside carrying a water bottle and a concerned expression. "You can still back out," Marcus said quietly. He was an older man, 53, with graying hair and scars that told stories he rarely shared. Nobody would think less of you. The brackets were just posted. You drew Kravik the Render in the first round. Jenna did not look up from her hand-wrapping. "I know who I drew." "Kravik has killed 3 opponents in sanctioned matches," Marcus continued, his voice taking on that pleading tone she hated. "He is not just big. He is a trained killer from a warrior culture that considers mercy a character flaw. He outweighs you by 200 pounds, has claws that can shred titanium, and regenerates minor wounds in real time. This is not a fair fight." "No fight is ever fair," Jenna replied, finishing her left hand and starting on her right. "That is what makes them interesting." Marcus set the water bottle on the bench and sat down heavily. "You are the only human registered in this tournament. Do you understand what that means? Earth only made official contact with the galactic community 8 years ago. Most species still think we are soft, weak, easy prey. If you go out there and get torn apart in the first round, it confirms everything they already believe about us." Now Jenna did look up, and her smile was sharp enough to cut glass. "Then I guess I better not get torn apart." The announcement system crackled to life. "Competitor Cross. Report to entrance gate 3. Match begins in 5 minutes." Jenna stood, rolling her shoulders and bouncing on the balls of her feet. Her heart rate was steady, her breathing controlled. She had prepared for this moment for 3 years. 3 years of training under Marcus, who had been a military combatives instructor, before retiring to become the galaxy's most unlikely fight coach. 3 years of studying alien physiology, learning weak points, understanding how different species moved and thought and fought. Marcus grabbed her arm as she headed for the door. "Jenna, please, just promise me you will survive this." She looked at him, and her expression softened just slightly. "I did not come here to survive, Marcus. I came here to win." The tunnel leading to the arena floor was dark, lit only by strips of blue emergency lighting along the floor. Jenna could hear the crowd through the thick walls. They sounded hungry, eager, ready for blood and entertainment. She emerged into the brightness of the arena, and the crowd noise hit her like a physical force. Thousands of voices, clicks, chirps, and sounds she could not even classify merged into a wall of anticipation. Holographic displays floating above the arena showed her image, her name, her homeworld, Earth, a planet most of the galaxy had never heard of until recently. The announcer's voice boomed through the space, translated into dozens of languages simultaneously. Entering from Gate 3, fighting out of Earth, making her tournament debut, standing 5 feet 6 inches and weighing 130 pounds, please welcome Jenna Cross. The crowd response was mixed. Some curious cheers, mostly laughter. She heard the unmistakable sound of betting tablets being adjusted as odds shifted. They did not expect her to last 2 minutes. Then the opposite gate opened, and Kravik the Render entered the arena. He was a Vorgath, a species bred for war and conquest. He stood 7 feet tall with shoulders broader than Jenna was tall. His skin was deep red, covered in natural armor plates that overlapped like scales. His arms were thick as tree trunks, ending in hands that sported 6-inch claws designed for tearing and rending. His face was all sharp angles and predatory intent, with yellow eyes that held no compassion whatsoever. He wore minimal fighting gear, confident that his natural advantages were more than sufficient. As he walked to his side of the arena, he beat his chest with both fists and the crowd roared approval. The announcer continued. And her opponent, the defending sector champion, with a professional record of 47 wins and 0 losses, 23 by knockout, 3 by fatality, standing 7 feet tall and weighing 330 pounds, the undefeated destroyer Kravik the Render. The arena shook with the noise. This was their champion, their monster, their entertainment. The referee, a neutral Pelkari official with crystalline skin, gestured both fighters to the center of the arena. Jenna walked forward calmly, her hands loose at her sides. Kravik lumbered toward her with the confident gait of someone who had never known defeat. They stood 3 feet apart. The size difference was comical. Kravik looked down at her, the way someone might look at an insect that had wandered into their path. The referee began explaining the rules in a bored monotone. This is a sanctioned combat match under Galactic Athletic Commission regulations. Victory is achieved by knockout, submission, or opponent incapacitation. Lethal force is permitted but not encouraged. Medical teams are standing by. Do both competitors understand? Jenna nodded once. Kravik grinned, revealing rows of serrated teeth. Then he did something that would haunt him for the rest of his life. He laughed. It started as a low chuckle that built into a full-bodied roar of amusement. He threw his head back and laughed at the ceiling, at the absurdity of this tiny human girl standing before him, pretending to be a fighter. The crowd joined in, thousands of voices laughing at the presumption, the audacity, the sheer foolishness of a human thinking she belonged in this arena. Kravik looked back down at Jenna, still chuckling. This is a joke, yes? Where is my real opponent? Did they send you to entertain me before the actual fight? Jenna said nothing. Her expression had not changed. She simply watched him with those calm grey eyes, waiting. I will try not to kill you too quickly, little human, Kravik continued, playing to the crowd. I want the audience to get their money worth. Perhaps I will break only one limb at a time. Make it last. Make it educational. Show the galaxy what happens when prey forgets its place. The referee stepped back. Fighters ready. On my mark, 3, 2, 1, begin. The crowd noise peaked, and then dropped to a tense murmur as everyone leaned forward to watch the massacre. Kravik did not rush. Why would he? He had all the time in the world. He advanced slowly, arms spread wide, confident that his reach advantage meant Jenna could not possibly land a strike without entering his kill zone. Jenna circled to her left. Light on her feet, hands up in a loose guard position, she was reading him, watching how he moved, noting the slight favor of his right leg, the way his left shoulder sat just fractionally lower than his right. Old injuries, perhaps, or just natural asymmetry. Everybody had weak points. Every fighter had patterns. Are you going to run, little mouse? Kravik taunted. That might be wise. Perhaps if you flee quickly enough, I will let you live. Jenna did not respond. She kept circling, patient, waiting for the moment. Kravik's confidence transformed into irritation. He lunged forward with shocking speed for his size, right arm sweeping in a hook, designed to take her head clean off her shoulders. Jenna ducked under the strike so smoothly it looked choreographed. She slipped to the outside of his arm and drove her right fist into his ribs, targeting the gap between his natural armor plates. The punch was technically perfect. Hip rotation, full body weight. Knuckles landing precisely on target. It did absolutely nothing. Kravik did not even flinch. He pivoted and backhanded at her with his left arm, claws extended. Jenna was already gone, having rolled backward and come up 5 feet away. She shook out her right hand. Hitting him had been like punching a wall. Her knuckles screamed protest even through the fight tape. The crowd was getting louder now, sensing blood. They wanted to see the human broken, crushed, destroyed. Kravik's grin widened. That was your best strike, pathetic. My children hit harder than that, and they are still learning to walk. He came forward again, this time with more purpose. A straight left jab that Jenna slipped. A right cross that she ducked. A left hook to the body that she blocked with her elbow. And the impact sent lightning bolts of pain up her arm. She countered with a quick combination. Jab to his face, cross to his throat, hook to his temple. All three strikes landed clean. All three did nothing. Kravik laughed again, that booming sound that echoed through the arena. Is that all humans can do? Tickle their betters? Then he got serious. His right hand shot out faster than something that size should move and caught Jenna by the shoulder. His claws dug through her compression suit and into flesh. Blood welled immediately, dark red against black fabric. The crowd went wild. Kravik lifted her off her feet like she weighed nothing, bringing her close to his face. I think I will start with your arms. Pull them off slowly. Let you watch. Let you understand the price of arrogance. Jenna looked into his yellow eyes and she smiled. Not with fear, not with resignation, with anticipation. You talk too much, she said quietly. Then she kicked him, not in the chest, not in the stomach, not in any of the places his natural armor protected. She drove her right foot directly into his left knee, hyperextending the joint with every ounce of force her leg could generate. The sound of tearing ligaments and cracking cartilage echoed through the suddenly silent arena. Kravik's eyes went wide. His mouth opened in a scream that started deep in his chest. His grip on her shoulder released instantly, as his body's entire focus shifted to the explosion of agony radiating from his destroyed knee. He toppled like a falling tree, crashing to the arena floor with enough force to crack the reinforced surface. Jenna landed lightly on her feet, blood dripping from her shoulder, breathing steady. The crowd was silent. Absolutely silent. Thousands of beings trying to process what they had just witnessed. Kravik was on the ground, clutching his knee, making sounds no champion should ever make. His regeneration was already trying to work, but a completely destroyed joint could not heal quickly. Not quickly enough to matter. Jenna walked to where he lay writhing. She looked down at him with those calm gray eyes. You laughed at me, she said simply. That was your first mistake. Your second mistake was assuming small equals weak. Your third mistake was forgetting that humans do not fight fair. We fight smart. She turned to the referee, who stood frozen in shock. Call it. He cannot continue. The referee blinked, then raised his hand. Winner by technical knockout, Jenna Cross. The crowd erupted. Not with laughter this time. With something else entirely. Shock, awe, sudden, terrified respect. Marcus was sprinting across the arena floor, medical kit in hand, grinning like a maniac. You crazy, beautiful genius. You actually did it. Jenna accepted a towel from a stunned arena worker and pressed it against her bleeding shoulder. Round one down. How many more matches do I have? Marcus laughed, slightly hysterical. 6 more. 6 more fights to the championship. Jenna looked up at the holographic displays showing her victory on instant replay. The odds on her winning the tournament had just shifted dramatically. Good, she said. Then we better get started. The medical bay smelled like antiseptic and alien biochemistry. Jenna sat on an examination table while a Pelkari doctor worked on her shoulder with instruments that hummed and glowed. The wounds from Kravik's claws were deep but clean. The doctor muttered something in his language that the translator rendered as a mix between impressed and disapproving. You are very lucky, the doctor said, his crystalline fingers moving with precise efficiency. 2 millimeters deeper, and he would have severed the major muscle group. You would not be able to lift this arm for weeks. Lucky, Jenna repeated flatly. Sure, let us call it that. Marcus paced near the doorway, still riding the adrenaline high from her victory. Do you know what is happening out there? The betting halls are going insane. Half the station thinks you got a lucky shot. The other half is scrambling to watch footage of human fighters to figure out what else we can do. You have started a research frenzy. Good, Jenna said. Confusion is an advantage. The door slid open and 3 figures entered. 2 were security guards, massive Korvath soldiers in full armor. Between them walked someone Jenna recognized from the tournament roster. Zara Kincaid, another human. Older, maybe 35, with short blonde hair and scars that spoke of a violent past. She wore street clothes, not fighting gear, and carried herself with the casual confidence of someone who had nothing left to prove. Well, well, Zara said, her voice carrying a distinct Earth accent, Australian maybe, the rookie who just made the entire galaxy soil their collective pants. Mind if we talk? Marcus moved to intercept, but Jenna waved him off. Let her in. The guard stayed outside. Zara pulled up a chair and sat backward on it, arms crossed over the backrest. She studied Jenna with the kind of attention a mechanic gives a malfunctioning engine. That was either the bravest thing I have ever seen or the stupidest, Zara said. I have not decided which yet. Why not both? Jenna replied. Zara laughed, a sharp bark of sound. Fair point. You know who I am. Zara Kincaid, former Earth military, special operations. Dishonorably discharged for reasons the records do not specify. Fighting in underground circuits for 6 years before going legitimate. 3 years ago. Current tournament ranking is 4th overall. You specialize in submission techniques adapted from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and have a professional record of 31 wins, 2 losses. Zara's eyebrows rose. You do your homework. Impressive. So you know I'm not here to congratulate you or welcome you to the club. I am here to give you a reality check. I am listening. What you did to Kravik was smart. Target the weakness. Exploit the opening. Classic asymmetric warfare. But you got lucky that he was arrogant. You got lucky that he gave you time to set up that kick. You got lucky that his knee was already compromised from old injuries. Luck runs out, kid, and when it does, you are going to be the one on the ground screaming. Jenna met her gaze without flinching. Is that what happened to you? In your 2 losses? Something dangerous flashed in Zara's eyes. Watch yourself, rookie. You came here to intimidate me, Jenna said calmly. To psych me out before my next match. Make me doubt myself. Make me scared. It is not going to work. I did not come here hoping to get lucky. I came here with a plan. Kravik was step 1. You want to know what step 2 is? Enlighten me. Beat everyone else until I get to fight you in the finals. The silence that followed was heavy enough to crush atmospheres. Then Zara smiled. It was not a friendly smile. It was the smile of a predator recognizing another predator. You have got guts, kid. Stupid, suicidal guts, but guts nonetheless. Fine. You want a piece of me? Win your next 5 matches. Make it to the championship bout. Then we will see if you are still talking tough when I am choking you unconscious. She stood and headed for the door, then paused and looked back. One more thing. You made Kravik look like a fool. That does not just embarrass him. That embarrasses his entire species. The Vorgath are a proud warrior culture. They do not forgive public humiliation. Watch your back. Not everyone fights in the arena. The door closed behind her, leaving Jenna alone with Marcus and the doctor. Marcus looked worried. She has a point. You just painted a target on yourself. The target was always there, Jenna replied. I just made it bigger and brighter. Might as well embrace it. The doctor finished sealing her wounds with biofoam that would dissolve as she healed. You are cleared for your next match, but I strongly recommend rest. At least 12 hours. Jenna checked the tournament bracket on her wrist display. Her next fight was in 6 hours against a Zelkin fighter named Vex. Zelkins were fast, flexible, and venomous. This was going to be interesting. I will rest when I am dead, she said, sliding off the examination table. Or champion. Whichever comes first. 6 hours later, Jenna stood in the tunnel again, listening to the crowd that had grown significantly larger since her first match. Word had spread. The human who destroyed Kravik the Render was fighting again. People wanted to see if it was a fluke or the real thing. The announcer's voice rang out, "Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of all classifications, welcome to round 2 of the Galactic Combat Championships. Our first match features the human sensation who shocked the galaxy earlier today. Jenna Cross returns to face the lightning-fast, deadly precise Zelkin warrior, known only as Vex." The crowd roared as Jenna entered the arena. The energy was different now. Less mockery, more anticipation. They had underestimated her once. They would not make that mistake again. Vex entered from the opposite gate, and Jenna understood immediately why this fight would be different from Kravik. Where the Vorgith had been massive and armored, Vex was lean and serpentine, 8 feet tall but weighing maybe 150 pounds, all coiled muscle and lethal grace. His skin was mottled green and black, constantly shifting patterns that made it hard to track his movements. His arms were long, ending in 3-fingered hands tipped with needle-like claws that dripped with amber venom. He did not posture, did not play to the crowd. He simply moved to his mark and fixed his vertical slit eyes on Jenna with absolute focus. The referee went through the standard protocol. Both fighters acknowledged. The bell rang. Vex moved like liquid lightning. He closed the distance in a heartbeat faster than Jenna had anticipated. His right hand lashed out in a strike that would have delivered enough venom to paralyze an elephant. Jenna twisted aside, feeling the displaced air as his claws passed inches from her face. She countered with a low kick to his lead leg. Her shin hit something that felt like hitting a steel cable. Zelkin bones were hollow but incredibly dense. Built for speed and impact absorption, Vex flowed around her counter and struck again, this time with his left hand going high while his right swept low. Jenna dropped into a crouch, letting the high strike pass over her head, then rolled backward as the low strike tried to catch her ribs. The crowd was on their feet. This was not the methodical dismantling they had expected. This was 2 high-level fighters pushing each other to the absolute limit. Vex pursued relentlessly, his strikes coming in combinations that were nearly impossible to track. High, low, middle, left, right, feint. He was testing her, probing for weaknesses, trying to find the opening that would let him land his venom. Jenna defended, blocked, evaded. But she could not find an opening to counter. Vex was too fast, too technical, too experienced. Her shoulder was starting to burn where Kravik had wounded her. The biofoam was holding, but the underlying damage was affecting her movement. Every block with her left arm sent pain signals she had to consciously ignore, Vex noticed. Of course he noticed. A fighter of his caliber noticed everything. He started targeting her left side specifically, forcing her to defend with the injured arm, wearing her down. Playing the long game. Jenna backpedaled, creating space, trying to think. In her corner, Marcus was shouting instructions she could not hear over the crowd noise. She was losing this fight. Slowly but surely, Vex was breaking her down. Then she remembered something Marcus had told her during training. When you cannot win with strength, when you cannot win with speed, you win with will. You make them break before you break. You show them that humans do not quit. Jenna stopped backpedaling. Vex came in with another combination, confident now that he had found her weakness. Instead of defending, Jenna stepped into the strike. His venomous claw caught her left forearm, breaking through the compression suit and tearing flesh. She felt the venom enter her bloodstream, felt the immediate numbness spreading, but she was inside his guard now, close enough to smell his alien biochemistry, close enough to do what she had planned. She drove her right knee directly into his solar plexus. With every ounce of force her human leg could generate, the strike did not have the devastating effect it would have on a human. Zelkin anatomy was different, but it did something she had counted on. It drove the air from his lungs and forced his body into an involuntary flinch response. For just a fraction of a second, Vex was unable to move. Jenna grabbed his right arm with both hands, pivoted her hips, and executed a perfect judo throw that Marcus had drilled into her 1,000 times. Vex's 8-foot frame went airborne and crashed into the arena floor with bone-jarring force. Before he could recover, before he could use his superior speed to escape, Jenna dropped onto his chest with her right knee and hammered her right fist into his throat, once, twice, 3 times. The third strike crushed his larynx. Vex's eyes went wide. His mouth opened in a silent scream. His hands came up not to strike, but to clutch at his ruined throat. The referee was there instantly, pulling Jenna off, calling for medical. Winner by technical knockout, Jenna Cross. The crowd's response was deafening. Not just excitement. Something closer to fear mixed with respect. Jenna stood swaying on her feet. Her left arm was completely numb now, hanging useless at her side. The venom was spreading. She needed treatment fast. Marcus was there, supporting her, guiding her toward the medical team that was rushing into the arena. "That was insane," he said, his voice mixing pride with terror. "You let him hit you. You actually let him poison you just to get inside his guard." "Had to," Jenna mumbled. Her vision was starting to blur. Could not win at range. Had to take a risk. "You are going to give me a heart attack before this tournament is over," Marcus said. The medical team hit her with a venom neutralizer. The relief was immediate, though the damage to her arm would take time to heal. As they carried her past the viewing screens showing the instant replay, Jenna saw something that made her smile despite the pain. Zara Kincaid was in the crowd watching, and for the first time, the veteran fighter did not look confident. She looked concerned. 4 more matches, 4 more opponents between Jenna and the championship, 4 more chances to show the galaxy what humans were made of. 4 more fights to prove that the laughing had been premature. As they loaded her into the medical transport, Jenna allowed herself one thought before exhaustion claimed her. Kravik had laughed at a human girl. He had regretted it the moment she kicked. The rest of the galaxy was about to learn the same lesson. Humans did not quit. Humans did not surrender. And humans definitely, absolutely never forgot who had laughed at them first. The championship was 3 days away. Jenna Cross was just getting started. The end.